What's going on, everybody? It's Justin with Holiday World of Dallas. Today I'm making this video for you guys out there that are brand new RVers and don't know some of the things, differences in wall construction and cost, why they're built the way they're built, why they cost what they cost. So I get asked this a lot by people coming in, the differences between aluminum sidewall trailers and fiberglass trailers. So I'm going to go over some of the construction differences with you guys, explain why they do what they do, the benefits to the different types of construction. So hang with me and we're going to go over this together. Starting off with what we refer to in our slang terminology as a stick and tin model. This is a 22 Keystone Springdale Mini. It's a 1750 RD floor plan. This is what you would consider to be an entry-level RV. Now, don't let that give you a negative connotation. Entry-level does not mean cheap. Entry-level means basic. It's bare bones. It's everything you need in an RV with nothing else. That helps keep the cost down. And when it comes to travel trailers, if all you needed was just a camper for you, the wife, the kids, you're just going out on the weekends, you don't need any frills, you just need something dry to sleep in that's got climate control, it's got beds, it's got a kitchen, it has a bathroom. This is all you need. You start getting into bigger prices when you start getting into things like fiberglass passports, motorhomes is another example. The cost starts going up. Big, full fiberglass luxury fifth wheels. So starting off with the Springdale, this has an aluminum siding. It's corrugated, overlapping aluminum siding. It has an aluminum front cap. Okay, so as you can see, corrugated aluminum on the side, and the framing is spruce. Now, Keystone uses a Canadian spruce. The reason they do that is because unlike white pine or knotty pine, it has less knots in it. The knots that it does have are a lot smaller, so that means when they build the unit, screws enter the wood, if they do hit a knot, it won't split the beam itself. Okay, it's less likely to split in half, cause construction issues. The benefits to a stick and tin versus a full fiberglass are cost savings and weight savings. Stick and tin units are typically less expensive to build because they can be hand built at the factory, okay, and they're significantly lighter than full fiberglass. So behind the wall here is your spruce wall studs, and in between is your typical residential style batten fiberglass insulation. As an example, we actually happen to have a Springdale in the shop. This poor customer had hit a tree and run the tree down the side of the unit, so they're going to go through and replace all of the paneling. Now, in order to do that properly, they had to remove the slide outs because the paneling itself stops behind where the slide outs mount here. But to go over the construction in a stick and tin, as stated earlier, you guys can see now what I meant by the residential style batten fiberglass insulation. Another thing I want to point out is the amount of insulation they have. Okay, so this is an entry-level travel trailer. Keep that in mind. Now, you can see up there, you can see the trusses for the roof, and in between each of the trusses is more insulation. Okay, on top of that, as I said before, a fully insulated slide box on an entry-level RV. Something else I want to cover while we're out here with the floor exposed like it is HyperDeck. That is what Keystone uses. It's their patented flooring. It's a one-piece floor, so from front to rear, side to side, that is one solid piece. No seams, full composite, 2-pound density foam in the middle, and on the bottom a heat reflective coating to help aid with insulation. So the floor itself acts as an insulator on top of having a sealed underbelly. So for those of you out there wondering about Four Seasons camping, how good does this thing insulate in the winter time, how well does it keep the heat out, you can see all the insulation everywhere, and the floor itself acting as an insulator coupled with the insulation and the slide outs. They're trying to cover all your bases in terms of insulation on all Keystone products. Big benefits to HyperDeck flooring. There's no seams in this floor, so as this thing's traveling down the road and twisting, flexing, bouncing, You don't have to worry about screws backing out under your linoleum because the seams are working against each other. So when you go to run your slide out in, you don't hit a screw, tear through your linoleum, tear through the bottom of your slide out. Just a little thing that Keystone does a little bit better and a little bit different than all the other manufacturers out there. As I said earlier, just because it keeps the cost down does not necessarily mean that this unit is cheaply made, okay? Even at this price point, you know, you still get a solid entry step, okay? This one, they're upgrading the microwave, but as you can see, you still got your refrigerator, you still have a furnace, you still have a cooktop. You've got a big U-shaped dinette that converts into a bed, large rear windows, queen bed in the front, and overall the construction differences in this unit inside versus a $60,000 travel trailer, there are none. They're built by the same people in the same fashion. You still get the Dynaspan, or excuse me, Hyperdeck flooring in here, so it's a full composite floor, no wood, almost impervious to water damage. I think it has a 25-year warranty on the floor, and there's never been a claim against it. It's the same floor you'd get. When I walk you guys over, I'll show you an $80,000 travel trailer. It's got the same floor, the same warranty on the roof, the same construction. It's just lighter and easier to build, and the manufacturer passes those savings on to you, the consumer. Other differences are things that I'm going to show you guys. It's front cap construction. So in this one, you've got the rock guard up front, and then you've got the same paneling that you get on the walls in the front. It's less expensive. The savings get passed on to the consumer. Same model, or excuse me, same brand. Bigger rock guard, larger, smoother panels, makes the decals pop a little bit better. Same type of construction. So here in this example, we have another Springdale. It's a single axle unit. It's a 1760 bunkhouse. So it has a slide. Like I said, stick and tin construction. But let's look at the weight so we can go compare it to a fiberglass model. So 3740 dry weight, 4,500 pounds, fully loaded weight, okay? We're gonna go take a look at an entry-level Bullet that's a full fiberglass unit and show you the difference. As you can see, differences with fiberglass and stick and tin. Dry weight is 4,180, loaded available weight is 4,700 pounds. So a little bit heavier than the stick and tin, also more costly. Also, front cap construction is different. So I'm gonna do a couple extra videos in this video on front cap construction and cost, benefits, and all that. So you got your rock guard. This one, being an entry-level Bullet, is construction from what they call Phylon. It's kind of like fiberglass, but not quite, okay? It's a little more flexible, not as rigid as fiberglass, but less expensive. So at an entry level, you won't get an aluminum front cap, you'll get a Phylon front cap. Going up in trim though, you'll start to see different front caps, and I'll show you all that here in a second. Big differences though, the most obvious, fully insulated with foam instead of the fiberglass batten insulation. The frame construction is aluminum versus spruce. One of the things I like about Keystone products is they double weld all of their joints. A lot of other manufacturers, and I do mean a lot, will put a single weld on these joints. Now, while that will get the job done, it to me feels like cutting corners, because that makes one side of this junction rigid and the other side flexible. Keystone goes ahead and does double the work because they want their units to last. So something of note, if you're in your hunt and you're between different brands, different manufacturers, something to remember. Keystone's one of the only manufacturers that double welds their frames. So just glancing through the inventory here, you can see we have a lot of Bullet Crossfires. Crossfire is the entry-level Bullet. They're all going to have the Phylon front cap. Moving up and trim a little bit though, we'll go to a regular middle-of-the-road Bullet. You can already kind of see the difference entry-level bullet, mid-level bullet. So as I said earlier, entry-level bullet, Phylon front cap. Mid-level bullet, fiberglass front cap. Now, being the mid-level trim, we still have a seam here with the rock guard, okay? When you move into the Bullet Premier, you get a fully enveloped fiberglass front cap. So these are easier to manufacture. Again, they pass that cost savings on to the consumer. The more seams you have, the more sealant you need, the more likely down the road without proper maintenance you're going to catch a water leak. Okay, let's go look at a Premier and I'll show you the difference. Parked here side by side with a mid-level bullet. Again, fiberglass front cap, rock guard, seam down the middle, seams on the leading edges. You get into a Premier trim level, okay, you get a fully enveloped fiberglass front cap. The seams are moved rearward, so when you're traveling down the road, it's less likely for water to intrude through those seams. Fiberglass front cap goes all the way top to bottom, side to side. These are the differences when buying a travel trailer in price. It's because of the cost that the manufacturer has to endure to build these products. So you can get a lot of floor plans in a travel trailer depending on what your price point is. Every one of these travel trailers, maybe except for the Passports, basically somewhere in the range have the same floor plan. It's all down to cost and options. So as I said earlier, this is a $70,000 travel trailer, and when I was in the Springdale, the $20,000 Springdale, I was telling you guys that the construction is the same. So here we are in the heart of a $70,000 travel trailer, and as I said in the Springdale, the construction is exactly the same. It's got the same hyperdeck flooring, okay, never had a claim on it. Same type of construction for the wood, the paneling, all the trim, all these Blade 360 air vents, they're in the Springdales as well. So Keystone likes to use quality products across all their ranges. So like I said earlier, stick and tin does not necessarily mean cheap. It just means it's entry level, it's really light, they pass the savings on to the consumer, and if all you need is a bare bones camper, a stick and tin is a good model to start with. Once you get a little bit more into RVing, you're willing to drop the extra coin for a lot more space, some more options, more amenities. Then you start getting into cost. Getting back to cost differences between fiberglass and aluminum, okay? The reason fiberglass costs as much as it does is because the company had to build an entire factory to cast these walls, okay? They're a single piece wall. They're pinch rolled together with the adhesive, which gives a 100% glue adhesion on the entire surface of the wall. Unlike other manufacturers that just roll their glue on, there's spots where the glue didn't adhere and you get delamination problems. Keystone uses a pinch roll process where you get 100% adhesion across the whole surface. On top of that, they actually have a testing facility where they heat test random samples of each wall that they build to see how long it can hold up to heat before delamination. They're one of the few companies that do that. So not only did they build a factory to lay out these walls, they also had to build a factory just to make the glue. So there's a whole factory that just manufactures the glue for these walls. Another factory that makes the walls and then has them delivered to another side of the plant so that they can put the walls together with the unit. Now, why stick and tin is less expensive is because they can buy that aluminum and literally put that wall together in minutes by hand. Now, quality-wise, there's no difference, okay? Keystone backs every one of their products exactly the same. The warranties will differ because of the materials, obviously, but 18-year warranty on that roof, 18-year warranty on that roof. 25-year warranty on that floor, 25-year warranty on that floor. And all of the components come with all of their original manufacturer warranties as well. So there's no differences in quality. It's just differences in construction, differences in weight, and differences in cost. So that's something to be of note when you're on your hunt for your next RV. If you're looking for entry level, something super light, you've got a, I don't know, Toyota RAV4, and you've got a towing weight of 4,500 to 5,000 pounds. These are going to be the models you're going to want to look at, because you're going to have a lot more options. Okay, if weight is no problem and money's not really an issue for you when you're hunting for your next RV, obviously fiberglass would be the way to go. It's a lot more rigid than aluminum, but as I said, it's heavier. There's a lot more to it. It costs more to build, okay, versus stick and tin. So just a quick little tutorial for you guys. I'll go over some other things real quick that add cost to units, because some people wonder why. This happens to me a lot. They'll come here and they'll look at a Keystone product and then say, well, you know, why is it down the way? I can find, I don't know, what's a good example, a Forest River product that's significantly less expensive. Now, I don't want to trash talk Forest River, because I don't sell Forest River, I don't work for Forest River, and it's just in bad taste for me to talk badly about the competition. What I do know, they don't double weld their aluminum frames, they don't have a specific plant built just for making the walls, they don't use a pinch road process, they use seamed wooden floors, whereas in this Alpine, that is a one-piece floor built specifically for this unit. All of Keystone's frames are specifically built for their floor plan. They don't just buy a frame and figure out how to build an RV on top of it. They sit down and they discuss what they want to build. They talk to the frame manufacturer and say, this is what we need, build it for this floor plan. Okay, so it's little differences like that of why Keystone's, in my opinion, a better product, and they cost a little bit more. It takes a lot more engineering and time and manpower to do something like that versus the traditional way of just kind of slapping some together and seeing what pops out the other side and being able to sell it at an incredibly large discount because they're easy to build. Okay, now again, I'm not trying to trash talk the competition, I'm just talking as good as I can about Keystone because it's a company that I really respect. Okay, gonna go over some other cost adders with you guys here real quick. Another cost adder, manual jack, powered tongue jack. Okay, obviously that's going to add a price difference. Single propane tank, dual propane tank, steel wheels, and here we have aluminum wheels. So big differences, again, cost. Steel are easier to make, they're more generic. Okay, aluminum are custom made. Okay, they're also lighter, so what that does for you is reduces your unsprung weight. Now for some of you that don't know what that is, the entire weight of the trailer, okay, is sitting on top of the springs, so it has suspension as, you know, cushion as it's going down the road. What doesn't have that are your axles, your brakes, your wheels, your tires. That weight, when it hits an object in the road, pothole or a bump, whatever that weight is going to slam into that object on the road. So the less unsprung weight you have, the better. The easier it is on your tires. They'll last a lot longer, but again, it's a cost adder. Aluminum's a little bit more expensive to make. Okay, another cost adder here. So you have your traditional fold out RV steps. Now while they get the job done, as you can see, entry and exit out of the unit shakes the unit. Okay, things that add a little more value but cost a little bit more are solid steps. No shaking of the unit. Okay, things to keep in mind when you're out shopping for your RV. So I'm going to go over a few other things with y'all too. Now we're going to talk about stabilizers. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, when you're parked up, right when you get to the campsite, you're just sitting on the suspension of the trailer. So there's going to be a lot of bounce as you walk back and forth through the unit. What you want to do is use stabilizers. These will come to the ground and prevent the trailer from rocking back and forth, bouncing, make it more of a solid structure. Now on an entry level, okay, this is the same Springdale we looked at in the beginning of the video, you get rear manual stabilizer jacks. Okay, keeping the cost down, you can later add front manual stabilizer jacks. Now this one doesn't come with them. Again, they're keeping the cost down, but they can be added later. All right, the next step up, of course, is to have all manual stabilizers front and rear, all four corners. Above that is powered stabilizers. So these have an electric motor and a switch, so no more manual hand cranking. Okay, so these are a lot more convenient, lot less stressful on the back. A step up from what I showed y'all earlier. So we're looking at this Colorado here. So again, switches for the motors, they're directly placed above where the stabilizers are mounted. Okay, the next step up would be like what we have in the Passport over here. So in the Passport, still have electric stabilizers, but now you have a convenience center, okay? And all your front and rear stabilizer switches are located inside the center. So you don't have to walk back and forth in the unit, or excuse me, across the unit, front and rear, to operate your stabilizers. You can do it all from the same place. Next step up for a travel trailer is the BAL 7.3 auto level system, as we got here on our Outback. Okay, so it still has stabilizers, but the way these work is this actually automatically levels the unit for you. Just kind of like that video I did on that Avalanche. I did an auto level video on a fifth wheel. This system works somewhat similarly. It doesn't have the same type of jacks, but the concept is the same. Okay, so now we've gone beyond stabilizers. We've gone to the point where you turn the panel on, raise this up off of the tow vehicle, push one button, and walk away. Okay, so what's going to happen is the tongue jack is going to lower itself back down. Then your rear jacks behind the axle here are actually going to come down and lift the unit up. Okay, they're going to start leveling the unit out. Once it's detected that the unit is level, then your stabilizers are automatically going to come down front and rear, all operated by that same control panel. Another cost adder on a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, toy hauler, any unit really, is does it have solar or not? Okay, so this Outback 340BH we have here has a 200 watt solar panel installed from the factory. What that does is, let me see if I can find a panel for y'all. On top of that bullet there is a panel. What that does is takes energy from the sun, brings it down to the charge controller, which all of these will have. Now the controller will be rated for however many watts the panel is. Brings it down to the charge controller, and the charge controller maintains a charge on the battery. So it's always charging the battery as long as you have the battery disconnect in the on position. Otherwise, if the disconnect is off, none of the power can make its way to the battery, and vice versa, the battery power can't make its way to the coach. But in normal configuration, the sun is constantly charging the battery. That's another cost adder that you need to look for when buying your next unit. Very often overlooked cost feature in an RV, any RV, is the water heater. So tank sizes and water heater type. Okay, out there back in the day, I don't know if they're still making them, they had a gas only water heater. Most modern RVs will start out with a 6-gallon gas electric water heater. An upgrade from that would be a 10-gallon. An upgrade from that would be a 12-gallon. And a further upgrade from that would be what we have in the Outback here, which is a tankless on-demand water heater. So infinite hot water as long as you have running water to propane. Okay, ways to tell is usually the cover. This is, so y'all saw the inside of the gas electric. This is a tankless water heater. Okay, things that add cost. So for those of you out there new to the market, doing your shopping, doing your due diligence, and wondering why one costs more than the other when the floor plans are the same, it's little things like what I'm talking about in this video today that change the price. Okay, I'm gonna probably do a second video with a little more information for you guys. If y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the comments or give me a call. I'll put a link to the number here in the video, and let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.